Have you signed up funding clients that have maxed out credit cards and can't qualify for funding, so they're getting stuck in your pipeline, they're upset with you, and you don't know what to do? Well, in this video, I'll show you how to fund high utilization clients. Because when it comes to funding, we know that we have to have the personal credit optimized as well as the business entity, and part of that personal preparation phase is going to include the low utilization. If your client has over 30% utilization on any one card, they will automatically get denied for funding. So when it comes to our different options as to how to bring this mark down if they don't have the obvious solution of paying them down, well, we really have two main options right here. Basically, we need to find a way to get them capital to be able to pay down these cards, start the funding process, and then we can pay back that capital. And there's really two main options. We have personal loans, which are going to come from main banks or SoFi companies, enough to get this client the funding that we need to then pay down their utilization. Or we also have bridge loans. So bridge loans is an entirely new industry that was created for us, basically, as funders. It's created so that any client that has basically the perfect profile, except for high utilization, they can come in, pay down this debts enough so that now the client can qualify for funding. And once they get the funding, they can then pay back these private lenders, and then we can continue the process. So right now, basically, we're at an impasse in which the client might have everything else ready to go, but they're missing this high utilization factor. So we have to find a way to just temporarily pay it down. We can qualify for funding, and from the business funding, we can actually pay back the debt. And we've gone through this process with many, many different clients right now for personal loans, just like Gary right here. He had high utilization for really close to 2 years. So he wanted to launch his business. He was paycheck to paycheck, and he had no other solution. So we really fixed up his credit. We got him in a good position to qualify for a personal loan. From the personal loan, we paid down all of his personal credit cards. And once he had that profile fully optimized, then we applied for funding. We got him over $100,000. Part of the $100,000 was able to be used to then pay down his personal loan, and now he's got perfect credit, and we can launch his business and keep him going. We also have used a bridge loan option with multiple different clients as well. I'll walk you through each option, but this is exactly what we specialize in with moving our clients forward. So when it comes to the different options that we have the personal loan route, which is what I would say would be probably the preferred route if we can actually qualify for it. And then the bridge loan is basically what we can do if we have no other options, but we really want to help this client move them forward. So when it comes to the personal loans, some of the main ones right here are going to be SoFi and Lightstream. The goal here is, again, to qualify for just enough of a loan to pay down the utilization. So we have to do some kind of math right here. Let's say that the client has $20,000 in available credit, but they are basically maxed down. Well, what we need to do is find enough to be able to get their utilization below that 30%. Okay, so that would basically mean 30% of 20K is $6,000. So we need to find a solution to get them $15,000 in personal loans. So the personal loans, we would have SoFi and Lightstream. SoFi is a good provider, I would say, if we have pay stubs and proof of income. Lightstream is a great one that does not typically ask for this, and they would potentially get you approved for up to $40,000. But for the personal loan requirements, we need to have no negatives, low inquiries, no other unsecured loans, and sometimes we need a proof of income, like I said, with the SoFi. The big problem with a lot of clients that you might be running into is that they might already have other loans, and if they do, we basically do not have the option of going the personal loan route. Okay, so that's what we could basically do here. I like to focus on personal loans ideally because they're going to have less fees. You can go a little bit faster, apply for the loan, and hopefully get it within a week or two, and now we can start the entire funding process. There's no big pressure of timeline as well, because now we have the loan, hopefully at good rates, and we can move the client forward. So ideally, if your client can qualify for a personal loan, the goal here again is to qualify for this, pay down the cards, and move forward. So I'll walk you through the different steps here of when we go through the funding process, but we like to start with personal loans if we can, but if we do not have the option of using a personal loan, then we have to go to a bridge loan. Okay, so like I said, bridge loans are from private lenders. So some of these are actually online, so you can maybe find them online by doing some digging, or maybe if you have someone else that might have referred you over to them. So some of them might be something like Bridget. This is like an online provider, but they typically have hard requirements, and you also need to most likely be introduced to these companies because, again, it's kind of a high risk for them. They're basically lending to someone that is currently maxed out, and what they're doing is providing you with a short-term loan to hopefully qualify for funding, but they're basing it on the fact that they're hoping that you actually get the funding to pay them back. So it's somewhat of a high risk loan, so they typically do want you to be introduced, okay, so that they understand that you're part of a network and they can trust your results, basically. So there are some online providers. We typically have our own providers as well. These are going to be basically private equity companies that have raised a ton of capital that are specifically made for providing these short-term loans. And so some of the best ones that will give you easier approvals and better rates for your clients may be from private contacts. So inside of my Credit Coach Academy, I give all of my clients my direct bridge loan contacts to give them the best rates, and we get very consistent approvals for our clients. But you need to be introduced to these different networks, okay? So again, bridge loans are good for like a backup option compared to personal loans. Personal loans, you can go and apply online. If you get the approval, great. You get the money deposited into your account. You can move forward. Bridge loans are going to have some more requirements. It's more of, again, kind of politics. You got to know the right people, right? But if you have no other option, bridge loans are great, okay? So some of the requirements for bridge loans are going to have, you need to have the contact, no negatives, low inquiries. And then now basically we have some requirements for funding. So they want to have no cards over 100% limit. You might see some clients that have gotten some credit limit decreases. And so now they're a little bit over. So they don't like to see that. They don't want to see cards that are maxed out for too long. You don't want to have too many recent accounts. And then also for the funding process, LLC ready, funding panel established, and can be over 50% of pre-approvals. Meaning that if you're expecting to get 30K of funding for your client, you can't ask for more than 15 basically. And then typically, I don't really see that many approvals over 25,000 for bridge loans. So ideally, your client needs 25K or less to get them below 30%. So that's the entire process for bridge loan. Again, these are private lenders that are built to help you pay down the balance for your clients. And this can be a great option for you to then move some clients forward. So when it comes to fees and all that as well, you can probably expect some of these loans to be on the maybe 10 to 15% annualized rate for personal loans. And there's typically not that big of upfront startup fees as well. There might be a little bit, but this is again why I prefer the personal loan route, faster, less fees. For bridge loan providers, you can expect to spend around 20 to 30% fees on the amount that you lent. So if it was $20,000, you might spend anywhere from $6,000 to $9,000. So some of your clients might not like those fees, but the way that I present it to my clients is explaining them that we're basically in a position that we're stuck right now. We can't qualify for funding. You're in a position in which you really do want the funding because you might be paying high interest right now on your personal cards, or you're completely stuck with your business. You don't have the capital to scale, right? So basically we have no other solution than qualifying for the bridge loan. But thankfully with the bridge loan, if we do spend this extra $6,000 to $9,000, if it was on the higher end, then we can use this to now start the funding process. With the funding, we can pay down all of your personal debt and move it over to your business. So now your personal credit is completely clean, right? Because business debt does not show up on the personal credit report. And we can also get you 100K, 150K, 200K of funding, and now your situation is actually going to make progress. So although it is an additional fee, now we can actually unlock the situation and drive it forward. So in most cases, clients are open to that. Okay, so that's basically what we can expect for this. So how does it all kind of work together if you were to put this into practice? Okay, so when it comes to the personal loan, basically what we're going to do here is that we're going to qualify for the personal loan. We'll use it to pay down the credit cards, right? But now that we have the credit cards paid down, we're under 30% utilization. Now we can actually go and apply for funding. So I might go and apply for funding with banks that don't require checking account deposits because right now we're obviously maxed out. We probably don't have the money to deposit in there. So we might apply for certain funding banks like Truist, Citizens Bank, Elon Financial, Amex. So some of these banks that don't even need a checking account. We're going to shoot to get around 50K for the client during this first round of funding. Once we have 50K unlocked, we'll then liquidate that amount whatever we need to then pay down the loan. Okay, so we're out of the 50K, we might liquidate $20,000. We then pay back the personal loan. Now the client has perfect credit, so there's not going to be anything because we had high utilization on credit cards, which we already paid down with the loan. Now we have zero balance on the credit cards, but we have a loan established. But now we liquidated business credit cards, paid down the loan, and now we only have utilization on the business credit, which does not report on personal. So your client has no utilization, the personal loan is closed off, and now we can continue funding, right? So that's why your client's actually going to improve their credit. Even though we're getting funding, their score is going up, their situation's a lot better, they're no longer paying interest on all those credit cards, and now we can get them up to 200K of funding on the business side of things. Okay, so now we just continue funding. So that's basically how it would work for like a personal loan route. And then for the bridge loan, what we would do here is that we would go and apply for the bridge loan, reach out to our contact. Once we get approved for the client, they'll actually pay down the cards directly and do a rapid rescore, which means that they'll instantly update all the balances on the cards. Most of these bridge loan providers have different ways of doing this because they have kind of almost like a mortgage loan access to the credit bureaus. Okay, so they can do a rapid rescore for your clients. So now within a few days, the balances update. We can start the first round of funding because now they have all their cards paid down. Once we have those credit cards established, they will then add the fees back they'll actually add the balances back to the personal credit cards, and they'll charge the fees on the business credit cards. But now we've qualified for the 50K of funding. Okay, so now that we have the 50K of funding, we can use that to then liquidate, pay down the personal credit cards, and now they have perfect credit. So we never actually got a personal loan, so we don't have to worry about that. We directly paid the fees from the business credit cards, and we liquidated the amount that we need to pay down all the personal credit so that now they have no balances on the personal. We never had a personal loan opened, and now we can continue funding. Okay? So that's basically the entire process right here for quickly unlocking a situation for your clients, making sure that they get amazing results in funding, improving their personal credits, and getting them in the best position possible. So if you do want additional help from my team understanding the best ways to apply for a personal loan to make sure clients actually get approved for some high limits, then putting them through the entire pipeline that we just walked you through, and if you also want to get access to my bridge loan contacts so that you have more options for your clients to get them ready for funding, we actually do all that inside of my Credit Coach Academy program. You can learn more about that by clicking on the link down below. We'll help you understand the best ways possible to get your clients ready for funding and maximizing the results. So if you do want to work with myself and with my team to get better results for your clients, click on the link down below. But hopefully this video really helps you understand the different options you have and getting your clients in the best position possible to really maximize. So thanks so much for watching this video. Comment down below if you do get some wins. I'd love to hear about it, and I'll see you in the next one.